Hello YouTube. Welcome to Let's Review Video Games. I think that's what I'll call this sort of segment of my channel, or this series. Let's Review Video Games. I have a section called Let's Talk Video Games and one called Let's Play Video Games. I sort of came up with that title randomly. I'm not sure if I'll change it in the future. Who knows? It's really a common name. I don't want to get into the discussing that, but yeah. Deus Ex Human Revolution. Should I say Director's Cut? Because it's quite different from the original cut. I also figure that I'll review every game that I play, and this is probably the first LP I've started. I had another channel back then where I did Mass Effect, but yeah, this is the first one. So I'm usually going to start off with the pros and then go to the cons. First of all, I like to say that, of course, we all know that Deus Ex Mankind Divided will be here next year, 2016, hopefully. I think it will. I don't think there will be any delays. Well, delays are pretty common now, but yeah, I still think, 2006 is a long ways off, so I'm not even really getting, I try not to get too excited until it's like 3 days before release or something, and everyone's like waiting for it to release at midnight or whatever. But yeah, I want to start off with the pros, and maybe I'll talk about a few things that I'm looking forward to seeing in Mankind Divided. I probably will do. I'm not sure if I'll do a review of that video yet, because I just want to do reviews of games that I've actually played. So, but I'll talk about it because I've seen the review, I've seen the gameplay footage, and I like it so far. But let's go ahead and name the pros of Deus Ex Human Revolution. The first thing is the atmosphere and the music. That intro, the introduction, and the music, and what yellow or goldish tint. It's so relaxing. Playing this game at light with the moonlight coming in, it's relaxing, and I think that definitely lends itself to a positive, to a pro to this game. Even though this is a shooter, it has tense moments when you're sneaking around, when you're playing in stealth. It's still so relaxing. It's really relaxing. So that's one of the things that I really like about this game, and it's definitely a pro for a lot of people. That's one of the things I've heard from many people that talk about the game, even people that don't even like the game, like the diehard Deus Ex 1 fans. Some of them don't like the music. They like the Deus Ex 1 music, but that's another discussion that I've had. But yeah, the atmosphere and the music. And what I mean by atmosphere is that the music lends itself to the atmosphere. It's quiet. It's sort of serene. You have the soft music with the lighting and the tone. A lot of the stages are like sort of dark, and that definitely not dark, just low lighting. So that definitely lends itself to a really relaxing atmosphere. Another thing that I like are now, this is a really heavily debate from Deus Ex 1 fans, and I like the option. The various options at which you can complete a mission. Of course, Deus Ex 1 fans would say that there are more options in the original game. That may be true. I've played the original game, and the maps were huge, and there were a lot of I played a lot of it. The maps were huge, and there seemed to be a lot of different ways you can tackle an objective. Except for I'm one of those people. Actually, I'll be honest. I'm one of those people. I wasn't gonna say that I just played the game. I'm one of those people that I never played Deus Ex until Human Revolution. So I went back to try Deus Ex 1. I've tried it 3 times, and I just did not like it. It wasn't the worst game ever. It's just I didn't feel like playing it. It didn't hold me. There are so many other games that I could be playing, and for me, it was a lot of the technical issues. Like, you would be behind the character, and the hitbox wouldn't like register, and you'd hit the character in the head with a dart, and he'd just turn around and shoot you and alert everyone else. But anyway, yeah. When you restore Gunther from the first stage, I don't know how many more. I guess there's a lot of ways you can do it. I just didn't really play around with it. But in Deus Ex Human Revolution, there are different paths that you can take. Different vents that you can find. Even though you always usually in this game you're going to end up at the boss. You can't bypass the boss, which is what a lot of people are hoping for in Deus Ex Mankind Divided. By the way, these are just sort of, I don't write notes, I don't take notes. These are just sort of my initial thoughts. These are my personal opinions on how I felt while playing the game. So it's sort of just me talking to you guys. So what else? What was I saying? Yeah, the paths. I like that. The police station. If you watch my playthrough or even skim through it or whatever, or go to the police state section, I failed the conversation because I didn't want to invest any points into the social enhancer. So that was the only time. The first time I did it, I got through the conversation and I was able to walk through. The second time, I knew about the social enhancer and what it did, and it got me through. So that was pretty cool. And then the third time, I don't remember, I did it stealth. I think I got through some way. I knew about the social enhancer as well. And on my fourth playthrough that I just recorded, I killed everyone in the police department. And let's see, I went through the back door to do that. And the thing about it, there were 3 entrances. If I remember correctly, there are 3 entrances into the police department. You can go from the sewers, which is cool to me. I didn't find that out until the end of the playthrough that I just recently recorded. You can go through the sewers and end up in the very back and not have to go through any of the department and only have to face one guy. And you probably don't even have to fight him. You could just use the key card, or hack the terminal to get in there and talk to the doctor or scientist, doctor, whatever. And you don't have to do any of that. You don't have to go through the ladders, or you don't have to try to use the conversation, or you don't have to try to successfully talk the guy down at the front desk. That's crazy to me to even think. And there were so many other possibilities that I noticed, because this time I cleared out every level, I cleared out every area, and with the combat. But it was just so many ways that I found out that you can actually complete these missions, and I think that was really cool. And just like many other people, the Deus Ex 1 hardcore fans, or whatever, original fans, I agree. I would definitely like more ways to get to the objective, or even clever ways to avoid fighting the boss, like doing something beforehand that would eliminate the need to fight the boss. So yeah, that's something that I really like. It definitely encourages replayability, replays, and various. It sort of reminds me of for me, Hitman Absolution, the latest one. There are so many ways to complete the mission, but yeah. That's one thing that I like. I don't know why I compared it to Hitman Absolution, but yeah, I guess it is. It can be. What's another pro? Another pro is, and I know a lot of people don't like this one, but I really do, it's a third-person cover system. And I like to, in my reviews, I like to mention and bring up a lot of things that people don't sort of talk about. I was posting on the forums, and some guy said that he hates the third-person cover system and he only wants first-person. And I've read online, I've talked about this during gameplay, that a lot of people don't even use the third-person cover system. They sort of just walk around and, dispatch of all enemies that way. I like the third-person system because it gives you a view of the room. It lets you see the enemies as they approach you from different angles. It gives you a feeling that the character is actually there, and there are objects in the room that you can actually and physically interact with. When you're using the first person view only, you can't lean up against the wall. You can't enter a room by leaning against the wall and sort of throw a flash in there, and you just sort of stand by the wall. So it just takes away from the environments that they created. And the environment was another key issue that I talked about on in my Watch Dogs review, how they won't let you kneel down by yourself, which was a real problem because you were dependent on the design of the level that they created instead of your own instincts. But it didn't have to go in first person view, and it does not have to be in first person only. Now, someone mentioned that they should give us an option to use first person only and third person, that would be fine. If someone wants to play in first person, that's them. I would love the way it is now, and I would love it if more games actually were that more games allowed more games in implemented the system of a third person and first person mixture. But a lot of games do, where you can switch from third person and go into first person as well. It's just that Deus Ex sort of made it so that you had to go in third person every time we cover. So that's a positive for me, that they did add a third person move. It's not a negative. It may suck for a lot of people that really like first person, and I do like immersion. But yeah, I'm glad they even thought of that. And I'm not gonna. It would have been nice if they would allow for a complete third person view. I wonder if that's something that they thought about doing for a Deus Ex Mankind Divided, just a complete third person view option. But of course, we can see on there that there's sort of the same camera options and settings. But yeah, I'm fine with it. I like it. There's so many pros. I want to sort of keep it short, so I'm going to name only the things that are important to me. So we've done the cover system, we've done the atmosphere, and the story. Now, it's also controversial. The story. I like the story. I like the conspiracy theories. I like the companies, playing dirty in this world, in that world, because they probably do it in this world as well. I'm gonna say they do it in our world, in real life as well. They do it. That they do such things as that. There are a lot of different scenarios within the game that made you question your actions. Like, I was playing the DLC, and you had to either save a doctor who would have informed the world about how they're using the female patients or female captives for as tools, and I find that pretty interesting. Do you save the many ladies in there who could be doctors themselves or patients themselves, or nurses or whatever themselves, or other important jobs, or do you save one doctor? And a lot of times you may have a doctor that is a lot of times you may get the response of, oh well, she's just crazy, she's lying, because it's a conspiracy theory. She would have everything against you. I like making those kinds of choices. I like thinking about those kinds of choices and seeing how the game interprets it. Of course, the game didn't understand my logic to my choice, because I saved the people instead of the doctor. So, our scientist, she was a scientist, probably a scientist and a doctor. But yeah, I like that. I like making those choices. I like making choices in video games. I used to read those choose as you go books in high school. They were always fun. If you choose to fight the boss, another positive that they only added in the director's cut is, if you choose to fight the boss, I like the idea that you could have options, because that's what I want. I don't want to have a duck and cover shoot. I like to be mobile and active while I play these types of games, and creative. My favorite fight on the director's cut version was Fedora. Oh, it took me a while, but it was so fun. Every time I died, it was something crazy that happened. I had to figure out certain things. Yeah, I like those. I like the boss fights. I like the way they did the boss fights in director's cut. They need more options, and still I agree with other people, an option to sort of bypass the boss fights. I probably forgot a pro, because I'm just going, I'm just talking from the top of my head, which I may not do in the future. But I don't really think I feel like a fanboy. There aren't too many negatives.
The broadcast. I have to stop
the ending.
Please come closer.
It's kind of common just to say that the ending wasn't great. They were offering you a choice based on the storyline to affect the future of the world, because augmentations is a really
about the biochip, the Illuminati,
is in this world they're really important. They really affect everything that's going on in this world, as you can see in Mankind Divided, how the people are treated differently. You have the mechanical apartheid. Very interesting. So yeah, I think that's cool. I don't know. I think maybe people wanted a more I don't want to say typical, but I'm looking for a word, a more an ending where we actually got to get some sort of closure on Adam Jensen and Seraph and Megan Reed and something like that. Maybe a cutscene as opposed to a choice in various cutscenes. So this ending is sort of like the Mass Effect 3 ending, which I still haven't finished, but I know that how the ending went. So yeah, I can't wait to get into that as well. But that's not really a negative. It's just like an I don't really hate it the way they did it, but yeah, that was their choice. Nothing we can do about it. Trying to think of a negative. Oh, one negative that a lot of people keep mentioning in the forums, in the Mankind Divided forums, is that I really didn't like it. In my last playthrough, I did a combat run through, and I don't like that they do offer more experience for doing silent takedowns, for playing in a stealth mode. Like, I like to be mobile. I like to create chaos. I like to, while being stealthy, I don't want to be, found out, but at the same time, I like to set up mines and throw grenades and flash bombs and things like that. So I really did not like that they rewarded you more experience for doing specific things and none while doing other. Now, a lot of people say, oh, stealth mode is harder. I don't want to say that that's debatable. I do understand how not being detected can be hard, but the combat in this game, I played on Give Me Deus Ex, the hardest difficulty, and one of the things that changed was that if you got shot, they had more accuracy, and sometimes they could get a headshot, which I've got a headshot a few times in this game, and it's not really the easiest combat because you can't really just step out there. Just imagine in real life, is it easier to go through guns blazing, or is it easier to be stealthy? And if you're gonna rob a bank in real life, would you be stealthy and create contacts on the inside and learn the building and try to get to the vault without being detected, or with very little suspicious, like they did in England, where they dug a tunnel under the ground? That was like a stealth mission. Or would you go in there guns blazing? Who goes guns blazing into a bank trying to rob it but a moron? Those aren't professionals. So yeah, this game, you can't really step into crossfire. You can't step into gunfire, or you will be handled really quickly, even on normal. So, and then that's what it is. So even with stealth, even with playing by stealth, yeah, it may be difficult to stay undetected. But with the combat mode, it's still a bit of a hassle. So I don't like that they reward extra for playing. If you're gonna reward someone, find ways to reward people for creating explosions or getting headshots and things like that. They didn't add any of that. So, and I doubt they're gonna add that in Mankind Divided. But it's just something that I don't really like. There was something else, possibly with the augmentations.
Seraph was right about one thing.
I enjoy the augmentations.
Nature to want to rise above our limits. Think about it.
I think
Cold, so we harness fire.
I know it's hard to ask them to create more, which I think they have done.
An obstacle, we use creativity
but
and ingenuity to overcome it. The cycle is inevitable.
I felt a lot of the augmentations sort of lent themselves to stealth as opposed to combat. Now I don't want, some guy was mentioning drones and stuff like that. I don't think we need drones, but I think there should be it's kind of hard to say that they should create more augmentations. Like, I could probably create a list of augmentations if I were to write them down and think about them, but right now at the top of my head, it's kind of hard for them to say, oh, you guys need more augmentations. They created an augmentation where you have a suit in Mankind Divided where you can take more damage. I'm not sure how that's going to affect movement or being detected or anything like that, but yeah, I think most of the augmentations sort of lend themselves to stealth, which I'm not really I like stealth games, but like I said, I like to get in. I like to get behind enemy lines and cause catastrophe. Yeah, so that was not really not really many negatives. I probably am a fanboy of it, but one thing I do not hope they do is sort of completely revert to the original, which they didn't. So that was a positive for me. That's a positive, but that's not even like a positive or a pro or a negative. So I just rambled on. This is just my sort of review. That's probably what my reviews are going to be. Just sort of rambling on about different topics. I may sort of structure them more in the future, but right now I just like to sort of express my thoughts and feelings on the games that I've played, and sort of share them with everyone else, other gamers and stuff like that. And a lot of this stuff is coming. Sometimes I bring up issues that a lot of gamers don't talk about, but yeah, that's pretty much it for right now. But thanks for listening to me ramble about Deus Ex Human Revolution Director's Cut, or Human Revolution period. I'm not even sure if I will do another review of this, a more structured review, but yeah, I probably won't. I just like to ramble. But yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good one.